It sure does sound that Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears are exhausting every option to upgrade these key areas of need. And today's episode of Keek on the Mic starts right now.
Cali to Chi-Town, his Bears on a flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the Mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the like.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. First and foremost, Bears fans, happy Wednesday to every single one of you guys. I hope you guys are having a very good week and a very good Chicago Bears bye week. There's a certain zen about the bye week. You don't have to stress about wins or losses. You can just relax and watch the other teams play throughout the week. Before I go any further, Bears fans, with today's episode of Keek on the Mic, I want to give a huge first birthday shout out to my beautiful niece. Today she turns 1. She is definitely one of the joys of my life. Of course, I have my own daughter that is 3 years old, but I love her like she is my own. So make sure you do me a huge favor by wishing her a big happy first birthday down below in the comment section. So Bears fans, as you guys all know, the Chicago Bears are currently in their bye week. After a crazy first 4 weeks to the NFL season, the Chicago Bears sit at a record of 2-2. Obviously, if things could be different, I know a lot of Bears fans, including myself, think that the Bears could easily be 3-1 if they didn't have that, fourth quarter letdown against the Minnesota Vikings in week 1. But that's all done. The Bears are at 500, and now they enter the bye week, with some issues, right? And I want to bring this up to you guys' attention once again on today's episode of Keek on the Mic. The two big areas of need for Ryan Poles, for Ben Johnson, and the Chicago Bears organization is the running game and the edge rushing within the Chicago Bears roster. Of course, when you look at DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai, they have struggled in getting it going. And then, of course, when you look at the edge rushers on the roster as well, they have also struggled in generating a whole lot of pressure. The Bears currently ranked 24th in rushing after the first 4 weeks of the NFL season, and then they also ranked 26th in sacks per game. So those are two areas of need for the Chicago Bears. And the question that Bears fans kind of have been asking to themselves as we enter the bye week is Ben Johnson, Ryan Poles, and the Bears organization going to look to add to these positions of need during the bye week. Of course, you have guys like DeAndre Swift. He's averaging 3.3 yards per carry. That's not going to get it done. Kyle Monangai has shown flashes here and there, so maybe they'll give him some more carries and opportunities within this offense out of the bye week against the Washington Commanders. And then when you look at the defensive line, right? You have our edge rushers in Dayo Odeyingbo, which he has been underwhelming. He had that one pretty good game against the Minnesota Vikings, but then he's kind of fade out a little bit. And of course, Montez Sweat has, been decent, but not for the amount of money that we're paying him on a year-to-year basis. So yes, Ben Johnson, Ryan Poles, and the Bears organization need to do everything in their power to make sure they are upgrading that position of need. And the bye week could be a good opportunity for Ryan Poles to make some calls around the league. And actually, according to some sources, Bears fans, and these are just kind of rumors and sources going around, so really don't quote me on this, but according to some rumors and sources, the Chicago Bears have reached out to multiple NFL teams in regard to their current state at the running back position and the edge rushing position. And we are hearing that these teams are being very unresponsive and are not willing to trade, which makes a little bit of sense. It's only 4 weeks into the NFL season. Even if those teams are 0-4 and 1-3, it's still kind of too early in the season. I think Ryan Poles and the Bears should continue knocking on those doors until these teams do respond. Maybe as it gets closer to the trade deadline at the end of October, and these teams are now sitting at 1-7 or 0-8. Then they will probably become sellers. It's just at this point in time in NFL season, it's just too early in the season. I do commend, if this is true, that Ben Johnson, Ryan Poles, and the Bears organization see these flaws, meaning the running back position, and obviously with the pressure going on the defense side of the football with the edge rushers, I commend that they see these problems as well. And we all know that Ben Johnson does not play. They just recently, are going to bench Braxton Jones in favor of Theo Benedict. So they understand understand that, hey, if these guys are not performing at the level that they expect them to, these guys will be replaced. So to me, it is interesting. It doesn't surprise me at all, but it does suck that some of these teams are being unresponsive, but it doesn't surprise me whatsoever, just knowing that it's kind of still early in the NFL season. So these teams probably still have a little bit of slimmer of hope, but I do commend that the Chicago Bears are trying to reach out for some options. If I am in general manager Ryan Poles' shoes and Ben Johnson's shoes, these are the teams that I would possibly be reaching out to consistently until they do respond. I want to talk about two players that I think that would take the Chicago Bears both offensively and defensively to the next level as a football team. First and foremost, keep calling the New York Jets about running back Breece Hall. Breece Hall is 24 years old. He's in the last year of his deal. I do know that their backup running back, Braylon Allen, is dealing with a pretty serious knee injury. So a lot of Bears fans saying, well, there's no way in hell that the Jets are going to trade Breece Hall at this point. No, there's still a high chance. The New York Jets are sitting at 0-4. And it seems like their season is already going out of control. So once again, as we near the trade deadline at the end of October, and let's say the New York Jets keep losing, I think at that point they will become sellers. I don't think they have any plans to sign Breece Hall to an extension, and I think Breece Hall would be a nice upgrade to that running back room here in Chicago. Once again, 5'11", 217 pounds. He's averaging 4.6 yards per carry, Bears fans. When you put that in perspective, and what I just mentioned at the beginning of today's episode of DeAndre Swift only averaging 3.3 yards per carry, this would be a major upgrade for the Chicago Bears. He has a speed, Bears fans. He runs a 4.4 40-yard dash, acceleration, strong receiving ability out of the backfield. He's also a very powerful runner. So to me, this move would make a lot of sense for the Chicago Bears. It would just bring a change of pace. Even if you had to give up DeAndre Swift in this trade and send his ass to New York, I would definitely do it because I do think at this point in time, Breece Hall is the type of running back that we need here in Chicago with Ben Johnson. And once again, I'm not trying to sit here and hate on DeAndre Swift. He is really good receiving back out of the backfield as a pass catcher. I understand that. But when push comes to shove, averaging 3.3 yards per carry is not going to get it done. If we are able to get the running game going and have the production of a 4.6 yard per carry from Breece Hall, this offense can take the next level. It would help Caleb Williams out tremendously as well. So I would continue calling the New York Jets in regard to Breece Hall. Another, player that I think we should, continue to call about, and a team that we should continue to call about this player is the Cincinnati Bengals in regard to Trey Hendrickson. I know that they, extended him to that 1-year deal, but he looked absolutely miserable. The Cincinnati Bengals season already kind of looks lost with the injury of Joe Burrow. They are just not a very good football team right now. And once again, they could be holding out hope saying, hey, maybe we can win some games here, some games here. And then when Joe Burrow comes back, maybe our season will be saved. But if the Cincinnati Bengals continue to lose football games, and once again, as we near towards a trade deadline, and they're sitting at like a record of 1-7, 2-5, whatever it may be, if I am Ryan Poles, Ben Johnson, the Bears organization, I am taking full advantage of that scenario and saying, hey, just go ahead and give us Trey Hendrickson, because Hendrickson on this Bears defense would give us something that we desperately need, and that is consistent pressure on the quarterback. What Hendrickson would be able to do for Montez Sweat, for Dio Dangbo, even for guys like Javon Dexter and Grady Jarrett would be generational for this Bears defense. You guys all know how I felt about the Trey Hendrickson situation prior to the Cincinnati Bengals extending him for that 1 year, but it makes all the sense in the world, especially with this connection to Bears defensive coordinator Dennis Allen, that we just continue to knock on that door and call the Cincinnati Bengals until hopefully they give up Trey Hendrickson. So Bears fans, personally, if we are able, and once again, it's probably unlikely just due to, cap space and draft capital, all that stuff, it would be really nice if the Chicago Bears can make one of these two moves. Rather, it's Breece Hall to fix the running back position, or adding a guy like Trey Hendrickson to upgrade the defensive line as well. I think that would, definitely upgrade those two areas or at least one of those areas of need. So Bears fans, before I let you guys go on today's episode of Keek on the Mic, if you were in Bears general manager Ryan Poles' shoes, and if you were the head coach of the Bears and Ben Johnson, which move would you rather make? Would you rather upgrade the running back position with Breece Hall, or would you rather go get a legit edge rusher in Trey Hendrickson? Let me know down below in the comment section. But as always, make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for an all-new Bears podcast right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't Geek on the Mic.